see here.
Oh, LG Insurance Agency is now live.
Oh, okay. All right, good.
So something's coming through. Oh, here we go. Oh, I see you. I see Kevin, and we're
All I gotta do is
rolling.
hit the. I gotta hit the theme song, and we'll be good. I just want to make sure I have it all.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, we're live. Perfect. Awesome. Good to know. Good.
You forgot the music though. Let's go.
Oh yeah, the music. I forgot about that.
Don't forget.
Hello. What's up, people? Guess what? Knock knock. Who's there? Totally Local podcast. That's right. Colorful characters, local businesses in and around the Jersey Shore area, Monmouth County, Ocean County. Today we have a wonderful guest. He goes a little bit deeper into the New Jersey landscape. He covers all of it. Going around inspiring people. You know him on Instagram, InspiredByKChev. It's Kevin. Pronounce your last name again, Kevin.
Chiaravalloti.
Chiaravalloti. Oh my God, I feel like I'm singing a song on a balcony. With us always is Aaron Levine, LG Insurance. Looking good with the vaulted ceiling outside. Cut off his cocaine mustache. Doesn't look like Pablo Escobar anymore. I'm missing it. But you know, I heard business leads went up 20% after you shaved it off. Is that true?
I guess people weren't afraid of me anymore. I didn't look like a homeless man. I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty slick. You look like a cowboy, you know. But a cowboy on the Jersey Shore.
2 days, but it's all right. My wife made me start using like conditioner in my hair, and so now it's like nice and soft. So we're good. We're good, man.
Perfect. You look good, man. It's a beautiful day. Me and Kevin are not outside right now, but you are on. You've been out and about. It's beautiful out. You're really enjoying it, Aaron, and you look great. You took a vacation from your vacation, and you look wonderful.
I took a vacation from the vacation. I played golf today. I already had a few cocktails. Don't tell anybody. Are we live yet?
Whoops. We'll edit. Oh, it's live. Oh, sorry, we can't edit it out. My bad. But don't worry.
Oh, well. All right. But I'm enjoying the day. It's like a vacation day. But I've got like 97 emails waiting for me that I'll tackle this afternoon. But hanging with you guys is definitely more important to see what we got going on.
You gotta do that. You gotta really take time for yourself. And what was your video today, Kev? It's what was it? The altitude. How do you get to the altitude? What was that? What did you say?
It's your attitude determines your altitude.
Boom.
And what that means is, mindset driven is everything. How can you really get to new heights if your attitude is, down in the drain and in the dumps? But you wake up positive, ready to, like Aaron said, attack it. Then you can do what you got to do and keep evolving. Like I say, we don't see a ceiling. Sky's the limit, really.
Beautiful. Kevin, what made you, like, what was your moment? What was your, like, Peter Parker moment? What was that, like, radioactive spider that, like, bit you and turned you into the motivational superhero you are today?
Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you. It's
no
a cool opportunity to talk about this. It's funny. I get that question asked a lot. Like, how did I really get into it? And I never really had like a good answer because I just kind of did it. But thinking about it now, like there was a period when I graduated college, like for like 3 or 4 months where I was just in like a funk, like started a new job, corporate world, just was like always miserable, not depressed, but just like not the way I am now. And I got through it by, people encouraging me. I listened to a lot of motivational speakers, and the impact that they can have on you and how they shift your mindset is like things you don't forget. Mm-hmm. So I realized I need to have that effect on people. And I just kind of started the page. And I always had that idea of motivating people, but I didn't have the confidence to go on camera and like put myself out into the universe.
Yeah.
But I said, what, I'm going to do it. I think I'm good at it. And I just made content every day, Started doing different introductions that you guys see every morning. I sold merchandise, always. And it's kind of just really grown at a rate that I never would have ever expected. But, it's just to make people feel good and encouraged and to know that they can do more than they really think they can, because self-esteem is a big issue with a lot of people.
Definitely. It's hard to get out there. People have that fear of success. They get subconsciously caught into this idea of, your subconscious kind of locks you into this idea of, I want to protect you as a person, so I don't want to do new things. Or if we try new things, we might fail and that will hurt. And you kind of have to fight against that. Talking, with Aaron, as much as we've been talking over the past, few months, 6 months, however long it's been, the pandemic's got me fuzzy, but, he really Aaron kind of did a similar thing, it seems, where he started his business and you just kind of went for it, Aaron, right?
Just kind of plow through it, right? You just got to kind of go for it. We started 14 weeks ago with this podcast, getting the quarantine edition, which is no longer the quarantine edition, rolling.
Yeah.
And then we haven't stopped. Kevin, you've just been making content. You were at my office probably in February. We did a video together. It was a whole lot of fun. We rolled through the office. We talked a little bit about insurance, but you're in and out and just making content, right? Gary Vaynerchuk, who's got millions of followers, content, right? He talks about just continuously making content to build your audience and speak to those who you want to speak to, and don't worry about everything else, and don't worry about your viewership, because your audience is just going to keep growing. So I love it, and that's what we're doing here, and that's what business is. It's just continuing to put out content, whether it's via social media or by meeting people and networking and getting out there and learning and building a following, which is your business.
Kev, you were just talking about how you go out there and you interview people, you go meet people at their businesses, and you see a lot of different businesses in and around this area. You've been expanding out, and you visited some food trucks. So I got to ask, Kevin, how are your sister's balls?
Oh man. So Nicole and Debbie are great people. Nicole's the daughter, Debbie's the mother. They have a little son, little Joey.
Joey Meatballs.
Joey Meatballs, that's the son. Kid. But I brought my friend with me the other day. My friend Chris was the one recording. Mm-hmm. And on the way, I was like, man, those meatballs were outrageous. So good. I love them too. Because they just, it's not just like, take them out, put them in the freezer, put them in the fryer. They make them, and it's like their recipe, and you can tell as soon as you taste it. They're really good. They're going to really take off. I see them expanding into more catering and backyard events and parties and anniversaries and weddings or whatever it is. But they're really good at, blossom for sure.
So how is that like a typical, how did that go about? Are you just like a really kind of a personable guy? Did you just approach them when they were making the food and you introduce yourself? Like how did that go? Or they were just totally cool because, any publicity is good publicity, they say.
Are you talking about that specific one or really
yeah,
how
like in that specific instance, but also kind of what you were leading to, also I want to know how you kind of go from, in general, how these interactions or how you get connected with people.
So your sister's boss specifically became friends with Nicole on Facebook, saw that she had a business. During the pandemic, I asked her, I said, hey, if you want to send me a few pictures of your food, I'll post it for you. And then we did that. And then when we were able to meet back in person, she invited me because every couple weeks they go to Holbrook Little League in Jackson. Mm-hmm. They have a series, and I think your sister's balls goes there a couple times. And she reached out, hey, Kevin, I'm going to be at that place. You want to come do a video?
Nice.
So that's how the first one happened. This most recent time when I did her last week or beginning of this week, I asked if I can go do it. But in general, it's a mixture now. In the beginning, when I was growing, I would always be reaching out to people. Like I reached out to Aaron and asked him if I can do his spot. But as I'm starting to really gain traction and all over the internet and all these different places and them liking it, I'm getting more businesses to reach out to me saying, hey, Kev, you want to come do a video at my spot? You want to come feature and interview me? And that's just how it's really grown, man. But I say it's 50-50, me reaching out to them and vice versa.
I hear you.
Mix.
Where do you see yourself? Like, where do you see all this going? Like, where do you want to be? Like, where do you want to be in 5 years, Kevin?
So it's funny. I actually made a post the other day on Facebook. I said, in 2 or 3 years, I can see myself in New York or LA somehow. Mm-hmm. So my main, purpose and, by the name of my brand, Inspired by KChev, is the motivational part of it and the inspirational speaking. That's my true passion. I want to speak at schools and events and, rehab facilities and just encourage people. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm not going to be like a Tony Robbins, he's in a class of his own, but like something like that,
Yeah.
But if the interviews keep taking off in the features, I can maybe see myself, in LA or New York having a little like segment where like I have a name to a show and I'm just going to all these different places. And
hell yeah. That's the way to do it, man. That's great. I mean, it's awesome. I love meeting like-minded people. I love seeing people get out there and promote other businesses, obviously with totally local, same kind of concept. I just like connecting with people. So, the just building that community or building that network is always important. As far as do you find it like, I think you mentioned this before, but like there's room, not every business is going to be, exciting, thrilling, like skydiving companies. Some businesses are landscapers, some businesses are insurance companies, some businesses do things that need to get done. Do you find that like it's more personality driven when you sit down with somebody? Do you feel like you could like kind of pull stuff out of them, or do you how does that work when you're approached by people that have all these various businesses? What is your approach to that?
So that's a good point. I don't want to just do food. I'm expanding. As you see, I'm doing everything. Yeah. And I always try to make it interesting. Whatever that service is or whatever, I'm doing, I always try to get some footage of them doing their service. Yeah. So the spray tanning business, I'll get on footage them spray tanning or whatever. But energy attracts energy. So if I go in there very bubbly and personable, it's going to bring their good energy out and it's going to make them comfortable and ready to chat. And, that's why they, I guess, keep calling me back, because it's good and it can, like, you can feel it when someone's energetic. You are able to talk and be yourself. And that's what I go in there doing. Like, hey, let's just have fun with it. Let's be yourselves. Let's talk. Let's make it a memorable experience. So, what it really is.
Aaron, do you feel that's kind of like the same? I mean, obviously, if you're talking about, you're talking about serious stuff like insuring boats or insuring houses and stuff, but you kind of have to approach it the same way too. When you're talking to, like, if you get somebody on the phone, you can't just scare the shit out of them. You got to like present it to them as like bringing your personality to it and then presenting it to them in a way where it's like, these things are not fun, but they are kind of necessary. Like, what is your approach when dealing with people?
Listen, fear sells, and I hate to use fear as a sales tactic.
Yeah.
However, when your house is going to burn down, you want to buy insurance?
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, I'm a nice guy. You want to buy insurance? Tell me which one you want to buy from. But yeah, the nice guy works, and but I'm also very knowledgeable, and I try to come off in an educational fashion. We try to educate ourselves, the entire team, our clients, and even just our friends and people that we communicate and associate with, is just to bring that education to the table, because we watch television, right? We see these great commercials from Geico and State Farm and Progressive, and they're all, all different things. And at the end of the day, they mean absolutely nothing. They're doing nothing but catching your eye and giving you an 800 number to remember via a jingle, right?
Yeah.
They're not educating you. They're telling you to save money, and saving money is not necessarily the right way to do it. Mm-hmm. Having the right coverage at the right price is the right way to do it. And that's kind of the message that we try to convey, is like, hey, we're going to do it right. And we only want to do it right. We're not going to do it wrong, because when something happens, you're going to be mad at us, and you're going to spend a lot of our time, having things done the wrong way. And it happens sometimes. We try to accommodate people. And it puts us into a bad spot, and we can get in trouble for that. The market's crazy right now for insurance. Rates are going up like crazy. We're also at the end of the 90-day grace period that Murphy put in place in March or April or whenever that was, back long time ago. We're at the end of it. So everybody that did not pay their insurance bills for the last 3 months, guess what? You have a big fucking bill to pay right now. And shit's hitting the fan. And people are like, wait a minute, why did I just get this bill for $1,000? Well, hey, you didn't pay your bill for 3 months, and now the insurance company wants their money, and now what are we going to do? So it's a total mess. My office, my staff is pulling their hair out because of it. Most people are understanding, but it's a lot more work on our part right now to make heads and tails of everything that's going on and what's due and what's not due and when it's due and payment plans. And it's a mess, between the personal insurance clients and the business clients. It's all over the place. And as we've talked about with the professional lines, the EPLI, the cyber directors and officers, umbrellas, those premiums are going through the roof in the next 12 months. There's going to be a lot of unhappy business owners because insurance rates are going up because there's just so many lawsuits, so many claims, so many unknowns in the marketplace right now. It's rough.
What's the deal with the PPP, the loan, like all that stuff? Like, you're on top of it, so please let us know. Let the viewers at home know what's going on.
Yeah, so for the business owners and the PPP, we're still waiting on that final forgiveness application, but the time period has been extended. So if you've gotten PPP, many people are looking at the end of June as their 8-week time frame of things coming up, but they've also extended it to 24 weeks instead of just 8 weeks. So you have more time to use it. So it appears that there's going to be a significant increase in forgiveness for the small business that's been able to maintain or hire back up, staff back up over the last couple months. I see all these restaurants are busy right now. Thank God we've had great weather. Our local economy seems to be stimulated, and hopefully we can keep it that way.
So Kev, when you're, you've been talking to businesses, and I've run across this before too, where there's like a certain level of sensitivity because, not every business is doing great. There are businesses out there like Modine and Asbury Park, which I, loved, and, they kind of like, they shut down. They couldn't hang anymore. Understandably so. It's really tough out there. Kev, when you like approach these businesses, do you talk to them about like the current climate economically or like the pandemic, or how do you approach these situations or these discussions when you're talking to people?
I think that's something I'm going to probably start getting into more, like talking about the process and how they've overcome it. But we talk about like what they're doing in the current moment. Like last night, I was at Blend on Main in Manasquan.
Yeah. And
Jeff Lou's a great guy, good friend of mine. They're doing outdoor dining. It was packed. Wednesday and Thursday nights, Main Street in Manasquan's, blocked off, and it's outdoor dining, extravaganza. But he had a market during the time where he was selling like steaks and whatnot. People just really kind of adapt with what's going on. They do their own different little twists. But I think this outdoor dining thing has really been beneficial to a lot of businesses. You're able to put tables outside and, live and make money and serve. Yeah. But with indoor dining returning at only 25% capacity next week, it's better than nothing.
Yeah.
So like a couple restaurants, I think only will have like 6 tables inside or whatever it is. But it's just, process by process and step by step. And eventually, hopefully by the end of July, August, we'll be getting back to somewhat of a normal. But a lot of these businesses, man, were hurting for a minute, but they're all finding ways to overcome it and adapt. But I'm going to start talking more about that in my interviews about how you did it specifically.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's important too. Like, you go out there, inspire people, and a lot of this, there are physical circumstances, there are active gods, there are things going on, but also your like positive mental attitude, and hearing from people that are inspiring are like, that's really important too, because you got to kind of, if you start going down that road of negativity, that's, it's just a bad place to be. It's not gonna serve you at all. So I think you going to these businesses and like you posting on Instagram and putting out these positive messages, it definitely helps. Yeah,
big man, it's really important. And I always give them the footage too, so they can post it to their social medias. Like
Yeah.
me and Aaron did the video. Fun video, by the way. Really, really fun. He got to post to all his pages. And, that's why I think a lot of owners say yes to me, is because they don't really get a chance often to tell their story or be interviewed or, put their business into the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm making a piece of content for them to put out to their viewers about, hey, how do we start? What's our history? And, I'm not going to say the price that I charge, but
Mm-hmm.
it's super cool, and it's probably like a no-brainer to most because of
It's advertising, it's getting the word out, and people need to do that. Some people don't know how to do that, so you gotta you gotta direct them a little bit. Follow up. What?
Yeah, I am a director kind of. It's funny how they're like, oh, I've never done this before. What are you gonna ask me? I'm nervous, but I'm like, it's all natural, no script.
Yeah, you put them in front of the camera, and it's like, do or die, man. You better not freak out.
Yeah, keeping it natural is so much better. I mean, that's what we do here every week, right? Just keep it natural and be in your environment and just keep creating. It's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta you gotta connect all these people, and you gotta do it in a way where it doesn't feel like stuffy. Also, I see your shirt, Kev. Like, where do people I want a shirt? I don't know if I could fill it out with like a toned body like you, but how do I get a shirt? Like, I might need a large or an extra large. Where do I get one?
So the process that I go through is I go through Pharaoh's Tees in Tom's River on Fisher. Amazing company. So what I do is 2 weeks before I'm about to place an order, I'll make a Facebook or Instagram message. Hey guys, doing a navy t-shirt with gold writing. Who wants one? People will say, I want one. They give me their size. I make a list. I give them my Venmo. They Venmo me it. And then let's just say I have 30 orders. Call Pharaoh's. Hey, I got 30 shirts, these sizes. Make them, please.
Nice.
With a week or two, they come in. I get them, and I hand them out to people that ask for one.
So speaking of that, Kev, I am, believe it at one point, believe it or not, I was in shape, and I am definitely out of shape, and I definitely love to eat food that's definitely not quote unquote healthy. So, where does fitness, I saw you out on the football field, I believe, where does fitness kind of fit into your attitude or your motivation to motivate others?
So there's certain things that I do every single day regardless. So one of them is making a motivational video every morning. That's the first thing, no matter what. And I work out every single day. I get up at 6 or 7 a.m. and I go to Tom's River North or Tom's River South, and I run. I do bleachers every single day. I can't start my day and be confident with a clear mind unless I get a workout in.
Mm-hmm.
I have an interview to do at 8 a.m. I'll go to the turf and run at 6 a.m. It's just a no-brainer. And when the gym was open, same thing. I would be at the gym before my day started. No questions asked. I don't care if I was hungover, sick, whatever. It's good for my mental, and I have to do it. So
Andrew, sounds like a single dude with no kids. I mean, to wake up at 6 or 7, stroll to the track, run some bleachers. Life is good for a young 24-year-old. How old are you, Kev?
24, yeah.
Boom.
24. All right. I'm jealous. I'm speaking out of jealousy here, by the way.
Shit gets real, man.
My 5 a.m. is tiptoe around the house and hope not to wake up the kids.
Oh, man.
That mindset thing, Aaron, I'm sure if you wanted to get up and get out to the track, you can make it happen.
Oh, man.
I think.
Yeah, Aaron, you could do it.
I've been there. I've been there, done that, man. I don't know if neither of you know, but I've raced Ironman marathon.
Whoa.
There were times where I would train 20 hours a week. Back in the day when I had a lot more free time on my hands. But he's right. I've been getting on the Peloton bike about 45 minutes a day, getting a hard ride in. I did some yoga this morning at 5 a.m. before the kids woke up, before I went to play golf, before I started drinking.
That helps, man. Any little bit helps.
It's great. Yeah, man.
So Aaron, as far as speaking of motivation and stuff, what are you talking to your employees about now? As far as now, we're sort of, we're still in it. We're sort of out of it, but businesses are opening up. Like, what are you talking to your employees about as far as getting out there?
Yeah, we're just trying to stay on top of things and do the best job that we can, and be as responsive as we can. Right. I'm not that smart. I mean, I really am. I'm a pretty smart dude, but my whole thing, and it always has been, is just being in communication and being responsive is what helps us succeed and win. So my staff, their charge is just to respond to people, make people feel comfortable with what we've got going on. And, hopefully we will get back out there soon, but we're starting to see people from time to time, get some meetings in person with some face masks on outside. So things are opening up, things are loosening up, but we're definitely we're super busy, thank God. And we're getting as much done as we can. And like I said, we're staffing up so we can handle a little bit more capacity and continue rolling and growing the business as we have been.
That's awesome. Kev, what you mentioned before, like, have you, I guess you can't do it now because of the whole obvious pandemic thing, and we don't know where kids are going to actually be bused to, like, some containment zone and, like, hosed off or something. I don't know what they're doing with the children, but, have you had the opportunity to go in, speak to teachers like in the past, or speak to students and kind of inspire them? I could see you doing that,
Yeah, well, that's the main goal, man. So I've spoken to some teams.
Mm-hmm.
Had a few opportunities. I spoke to the Lakewood basketball team, Lakewood wrestling team, Toms River North baseball. I've spoken in front of teams before, but part of networking and making connections is I have this lady who is big into the Toms River district, big supporter of mine, told me that her friend is on the board at one of the other districts, and told her, hey, when school resumes, tell your friend Kevin that we want him to come speak to our students. And I have that for a couple different districts as well. So when the fall comes, I think I'll be rocking and rolling with that.
Nice.
My interviews, of course, and just really, really growing a brand and a business, because I always tell people it's passion, consistency, love for what you do. And I have all three of them.
Yeah, you do.
My foot is staying way on the gas. It's not coming off. Like, no brakes.
Are you from where's the origin story start? Are you from Toms River? Are you from Ocean County? Is that where you're from?
Yeah, so grew up in Toms River, went to Walnut Elementary, Toms River Intermediate North, Toms River High School North, graduated from Stockton University 2018.
Nice.
Worked at the Borgata for a little while because I graduated with a hospitality degree.
Mm-hmm.
Worked there for a minute.
Were you like a pit boss? What were you doing down there?
No, so I actually worked upstairs in the executive offices.
Oh, snap.
So I was answering a lot of calls, dealing with, some high-end people, communicating well, learned a lot about social skills, kind of said, what, I like this, was a good stepping stone, but I think I have higher goals for myself, and came back here, started this brand. And it's funny, people say, well, what else do you do? I said, this is it. This is my gig.
That's so cool. That's cool, man. So as far as this summer, I mean, I guess, like, you mentioned you're going to be heading up north and kind of doing some videos and stuff up there. Is there any kind of, what are your goals as far as, like, as far as this summer? How do you see yourself interacting with these businesses? I mean, I guess it's easy if it's like a food truck because it's outside, or if it's like a restaurant, it's outside. Well, in some cases it's outside. But I mean, how do you see what you're doing, like, going forward? Like, I could tell you're very, like, this is probably a little different doing a whole Zoom interview, because it's not like you're not, like, physically in contact with somebody, which definitely adds to it. Is that something that you're considering, or are you just kind of more like feet on the ground kind of a guy?
Yeah, I'm definitely more of an in-person type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we've been making it work. I always ask the owners, hey, you want to wear a mask if we're inside? Give them the option.
Mm-hmm.
Some say now we'll just stand 6 feet apart and we will rock with it.
It's It's a real interesting conversation to have now. It's like you tiptoe around it because like I've been meeting with people and like you stand 6 feet apart, obviously socially distanced and safe, but then you kind of look at each other. You got a mask on, and you're kind of like, you want a mask? Are we masking? Are we masking this up? Are we masked? Are you masked? If I mask, do you mask? If you don't mask, I won't mask. But we could do it. You know, there's a lot of like, do we shake hands? Do we bow? I shook somebody's hand the other day, and I thought I thought my hand was gonna fall off. I was like, what is this? What are we doing? You know, like it's a really.
Every time I go to shake a hand, a lot of them are like, give me their elbow. I said, oh boy.
I miss a good handshake.
I have not shaken a hand since the beginning of time.
That's what it looks like. There's just before pandemic, after pandemic.
Like,
that's it.
This thing is I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid.
I'm gonna wear gloves all the time. Just that's it. Just like, you know, be like an evil like henchman or something. Have like leather gloves, or like, I mean, I guess you could do like finger guns or something. Put their hands out, just be like pew pew or something.
I like that one.
Or
That's
bow.
a good one.
I've been bowing to people, like not like bowing, but like I don't know what it's like inherently. I just kind of like I'm like, hey, and I kind of bow a little bit.
The Japanese have it right. They have the bow. They have it right. But I like the finger guns.
You got to try them.
Go soon, right, Aaron? And
what's that?
Coming to the office soon, and we're gonna do another one. We're gonna like wear like shields.
We'll do bodysuits and.
I mean, that's part of it too. Like I've talked to businesses, I've talked to like say commercial real estate businesses, and I've been like, what are you guys gonna do? And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, everything's changing. Like, what are you gonna do with all of these things in place that are coming up, or these businesses you work with? Like, things aren't going back to normal. Or like you see restaurants that were kind of forward thinking, where they put up all that plexiglass stuff, and now we're just plexied out. Like we're all plexied. I'm surprised, like, you know, our cars are going to be covered in plexiglass. Like everything's covered in plexiglass, but some businesses are kind of ahead of it, and it's kind of hard to like see where everything is going, or like to tell people, like, you know, I guess I ask them more questions like, what are you going to do to kind of motivate them to think about it? Because things, you know, we were promised in the future like floating cars, jetpacks, eventually we'll get robots and stuff, but people aren't really thinking of the reality of the situation where things are different. When it gets cold out, what are these restaurants going to do when they can't do outdoor seating, you know? Like Kevin, have you like, you know, how are you going to integrate your motivation and your motivational talks into like letting people know that this is going to be kind of uncomfortable in some ways? Like, what would you say to a business that doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they're like, Kev, what do I do?
Well, see, I don't have specific advice on that. I'm more like mindset driven.
Yeah.
I've never owned a restaurant, so I don't think I would be able to give advice on what to do in that aspect.
Well, that's smart.
I try to avoid like specific advice on like, you know, you ever see my videos? It's not like me saying like how to go win a job interview or something.
Yeah.
Mine's just more like, you know, believing and, you know, pushing forward and energy based motivational stuff. So
what do you tell? Yeah, along those lines though, what I'm saying is like, what do you tell if people are like, man, stuff's rough out there? Like, what would be your advice as far as getting into that mental zone of being like, you know, it is rough, but this is what you got to do to like mentally prepare yourself to do?
I mean, I always tell people, you know, in due time the stars will align. And I know it's I always try to come up with these like, you know, catchy phrases.
People can remember them. Yeah.
Exactly. People never forget how you made them feel, right? I always say that too. The blocks will keep, you know, being put together, and eventually like everything that you had in your mind will come to fruition. You know, you got to go through the little walls and the down moments, but that actually makes you stronger as a person, because when you overcome it, you realize, damn, I can really overcome a lot. Like every time something goes wrong, you always find a way to bounce back from it.
Yeah, we're still here.
Exactly. None of us have really, maybe besides Aaron, maybe, but none of us have a perfect life, right? I feel
it was perfect till he shaved that mustache off. Now I'm like, oh man. Before I like, you know.
I accept the compliment, Kevin, but all of our lives are perfect in our own little ways. you know, it is what it is. We make it what we make it, right? I mean,
right.
we all are responsible for our destiny and for what we do and how we act and react to every situation that we're in. So, you know, success for everybody is possible.
Hell yeah. I like that. So Kevin,
Here I am. Now I'm the motivational speaker. Look at
Kevin,
me.
you're motivating us to motivate other people, and that's
It's
why
real.
we love what you're doing.
Inspired by Aaron.
Inspired by KChev. I'm going to stick to insurance. I'm going to stick to insurance because golf isn't my career, and I'm going to let you do the motivating, and I'm just going to ride your coattails. I'm there to support you, man.
Kevin,
Thank you.
what do you got? You know, I want to say first of all, like, this has been great. I haven't smiled this much in a couple days, so I really appreciate you coming on here and inspiring me and motivating me and Aaron. What advice do you got out there for people? Maybe they feel like they're a little nervous, they got a little anxiety, like, you know, going forward, going into this new era. Like, what kind of advice would you give to people before we wrap up?
So there's always going to be people trying to tell you like what they think you should do and, you know, how they think you should do this specific process. And that's the way of the world. Everybody has an opinion always. People may not agree with what you're doing. They may not think you're going to be successful. They may tell you to quit or whatever. But ultimately, it comes down to always having your own back and always believing in what your, you know, goals are and believing that you're good enough to obtain them and achieve them. Because, like I said, self-esteem is a huge thing right now. A lot of people doubt themselves. They don't think they're good enough to get to where they got to go. And because, like I said, there's always hate coming from all different angles and negative opinions. But it's really just belief, having faith, and realizing that if you stick to your path, that eventually, like I said, the stars will align.
Hell yeah. Aaron, how are your stars doing? Are they aligning pretty good right now?
My stars are okay. My wife got a flat tire. I've got to go take care of that next. Got some insurance things to take care of, but my stars are good. The sun is shining. I think the baby's taking a nap. So we're all in good shape, and I'm excited. I'm happy that we got to connect today, and I'm looking forward to keeping it rolling.
Nice. Well, thanks guys for coming on the show. As always, people, this Totally Local podcast. Again, colorful characters and local businesses in and around the Jersey Shore area. Check me out, Instagram, totally_local_podcast. Almost forgot it, but I didn't. TotallyLocalPodcast.com. Check out our guest, Kevin, on Instagram, InspiredByKChev. It's on the screen. You know what I mean? Aaron's on the scene. Aaron Levine. Oh, man. Pulled it through there, man. LG Insurance, dude. Thank you so much, Aaron, for connecting all of us. Thank you, everyone out there. Please like the page, share it, let all your friends know. And I think we're out of here. Bye-bye.